The scorching afternoon sun beat down on the rusted zinc roofs of Agbalumo compound, a small, packed residence tucked away in the heart of the city. A taxi pulled up, dusty and loud. From it stepped a slender, quiet-looking woman. She wore a simple Ankara wrapper and carried just two small bags. No family, no friends. She walked slowly, eyes scanning the unfamiliar territory. As the compound children paused their football game and stared, old Mama Chica whispered from her wooden chair, "Another tenant. This one looks like trouble." But the woman kept her head down. Her name was Amaka, and from that very night, the toilet became her bed. That night, the compound settled into silence. Muffled radios, clanking spoons, barking dogs, all fading into the rhythm of the night. But Amaka didn't lie on her mattress in the small bedroom she'd rented. Instead, she quietly stepped into the tiny outdoor toilet at the back of the house. She carried with her a small wrapper, a pillow, and a small plastic water bottle. She locked the toilet from the inside. Neighbors could hear soft movements, and then the unmistakable sound of a toilet flushing twice. Then silence. "What is she doing in there?" someone whispered from a nearby window, but no one dared knock. By morning, the compound buzzed. The women at the water tap began the whisper chain. "She spent the night in the toilet. I told you she's not normal. Maybe she's a witch keeping her powers there." Mama Nena clapped her hands, laughing. "She better not cast spell on my grandchildren, no." But Amaka walked by, silent. She fetched her water, smiled faintly, and returned inside. She said nothing. She always said nothing. That made them talk more. It was always the children who noticed first. Small eyes, sharp ears, more observant than the adults who dismissed the strange. One morning, little Ameka, the compound's most stubborn 8-year-old, quietly crept toward the back toilet. He pressed his small ear to the wall. Inside, he heard soft humming and weeping. Then, a whisper. "Please, not again. Please." Amaka's eyes widened. He ran back to the yard, yelling, "Auntie Amaka is crying in the toilet again. Maybe someone beat her." But Mama Nena quickly pulled him aside. "You don't talk like that. She hear and curse you." From inside her room, Amaka sat still, listening. She'd heard everything. That night, Amaka sat alone in the dark. She didn't cry. She didn't blink. She stared at the wall. Remembering, a younger Amaka, about 19, stood outside a small bathroom in a boarding school hostel. Inside, her twin sister, Ada, had gone to bathe, but she never came out. There was a scream, then silence, then the sound of water pouring endlessly. They said it was an accident, but Amaka never believed them. She saw something in the mirror that night, a face, not her own. Amaka blinked once, then got up. She picked her pillow and went back to the toilet. Amaka stayed in the school hostel overnight, in the same toilet Ada vanished from. She cleaned the space, lit a candle, and steadied every tile. Then, tucked in the top corner of the mirror, a faded staff list from years ago. One name had been scratched out, but the title remained. Miss Patience, hostel matron, resigned after incident. Resigned. Why? Why had no one talked about it? The next morning, Amaka approached the oldest security man by the gate. She showed him the photo. He squinted, then nodded. "Ah, I remember them twins. One was full of fire, the other always quiet." He sighed. "After the one disappeared, dem no allow us talk." "Why?" Amaka asked. "Because the school was hiding something," he whispered. "They say she slipped, but we know better. She screamed, but nobody came." Amaka made a bold move. She walked straight into the principal's office, now run by a new headmistress. "Please, I need to see any report from 5 years ago. A girl named Ada." At first, the woman refused, but then she looked at Amaka closely. "You look just like her." She handed her a dusty brown file. Inside, one paper. Simple, short, cold. "Student drowned in bathroom. No witnesses. Case closed." Back in Agbalumo compound, word had spread. She went back to that school. Oh, what's she really looking for? Mama Nena sat with other women by the well. "That girl is disturbing spirits," she said. "She should just pray and forget." But Emeka stood nearby, silently watching them. He shook his head. "She's doing what no one else did. She's listening." That evening, Amaka sat outside her room, reading the staff file again. Then, a voice called softly, "Amaka." It was an old woman from the compound, Mama Rejoice. "I used to clean that school. I saw something that day." Amaka's breath caught. "What did you see?" Mama Rejoice sat beside her. Miss Patience was angry that Ada complained about her. She locked her inside that toilet, then told the school she vanished. Amaka's hands trembled. She had finally heard the truth. Later that night, Amaka dreamed again, but this time Ada wasn't in pain. They stood together in the boarding school hallway. Ada smiled. Her voice was calm. I'm proud of you. She held Amaka's hand and slowly faded. Peaceful, free. Amaka woke up with a single tear down her cheek. For the first time, she slept in her bed. Amaka sat at her small wooden table, a candle burning beside her. She wrote all night, every detail, every scar, every whisper. My name is Amaka. 5 years ago, my sister disappeared in Bright Hope Girls Secondary School. They said it was an accident. They lied. She folded the letter, posted it online. Then, she sent it to a radio station. She had finally found her voice. By noon the next day, the radio waves exploded. This is the voice of justice, the host said. A girl who found the truth about a sister lost in silence. Across town, people listened. In markets, in buses, in homes. Some wept, others were angry. Back in Agbalumo, Mama Nena was silent for once. Even the landlord turned his radio down and stared at the ground. Amaka had done what no one ever dared. 2 days later, a car pulled up outside the compound. A woman in a suit stepped out. She approached Amaka respectfully. The school board wants to speak with you. Amaka's heart raced, but she nodded. Miss Patience had never been questioned. No one had ever come this far. But Amaka wasn't afraid. The hall was cold. The panel was seated. Miss Patience was called in. She looked older, tired. But when Amaka entered, her eyes shifted. Amaka stood straight, voice steady, heart loud. She told everything. The letters, the dreams, the truth. And for the first time in years, Miss Patience cried and confessed. Back in Agbalumo, the compound toilet got a new door. Painted white, clean, fresh. No one mocked it anymore. In fact, no one dared to joke again. They now called it Amaka's Shrine. Amaka no longer slept there, but sometimes at night, she still sat inside. To remember, to thank Ada. And so the girl they once mocked, the one who slept in the toilet, turned silence into justice, turned pain into purpose, turned fear into power. Because if they only knew why, they would have knelt beside her instead of laughed behind her. Amaka didn't just hear the ghost. She gave it a voice. And in doing so, she finally heard her own.